According to the CDC, infertility is defined as generally not being able to get pregnant after 1 year of trying to conceive. However, a new definition was released earlier this month by the medical group, the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. The new definition states infertility as, quote, a disease, condition, or status characterized by any of the following, including the inability to achieve a successful pregnancy based on a patient's medical, sexual, and reproductive history, age, physical findings, diagnostic testing, or any combination of those factors. And joining us now to talk more about this and the implications of redefining infertility is Emma Waters, Research Associate at the Heritage Foundation's DeVos Center for Life, Religion, and Family. Emma, good to have you on. We appreciate it. So talk to us more about this new definition of infertility and why redefine it and why now?
So this redefinition of infertility actually follows a couple of states who have already passed laws to this measure. So Illinois in 2021 enacted this redefinition, and a large part of the lobbying came from an organization called Men Having Babies, who works really closely with major fertility organizations like Resolve and the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. And so in each of these endeavors to redefine infertility, they've explicitly stated that the goal is to allow same-sex couples to access health insurance benefits. And this also includes single people like women or men who on their own can't asexually reproduce. And the big problem with this is not only does it change infertility from a medical diagnosis to a matter of someone's personal feeling or preference, but it also requires health insurance companies to pay for the solution, which means that anyone else who's on that health insurance company who may or may not have moral reasons to oppose this, their premiums will now go towards funding someone else's redefinition of infertility, providing in vitro fertilization really for anyone who wants it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I mean, what does that mean for us as taxpayers and as Catholics?
Yeah, and this is a huge concern because none of these redefinitions or none of these bills actually allow for any sort of religious liberty or conscious protections. So Cory Booker this past year actually introduced a bill that would expand IVF access nearly for anyone, and it includes this redefinition of infertility. What's so notable is that he doesn't allow for any religious exceptions, and it's certainly not something that you can simply assume that would be in the bill. So effectively what it's saying is not only will they be forced to provide in vitro fertilization, which many Christians and conservatives have good reason to morally oppose, but they'll allow it for any family structure whatsoever. So children could be born to two men, to two women, or to a single man, and there are no background checks to really oversee this process or ensure that they're going to a good home.
And I want to ask you this, I mean, specifically for women, what does this signal for women? And do you think this redefinition in a way distorts, the God-given gift of motherhood?
Oh, absolutely. And this is what I think is so offensive to a lot of couples who really are struggling with a medical diagnosis of infertility. Imagine going to your doctor and knowing that you, as a heterosexual natural couple, is genuinely struggling with infertility and is seeking options. And then they turn to a same-sex couple or a single woman and they say, oh, well, you're also clearly infertile, even if their body is actually working perfectly fine. They're just going about it in ways that are not going to result in a child. And instead of being required to wait at least a year like heterosexual couples do, oftentimes these state bills and these redefinitions by the American Society for Reproductive Medicine actually allow doctors to tell a same-sex couple, a transgender person, or a single person that they're infertile on the spot. So they don't even have to go through a waiting period, whereas typical heterosexual couples who actually have a medical condition that needs to be resolved do have to wait. And so what this will inevitably do for men or male same-sex couples is this will fuel the demand for surrogacy because they will require a woman's womb in order to carry this child that they've created through in vitro fertilization. So it just further undermines the importance of motherhood and really erases the essential role that women play in this process.
Yeah, Emma, so much more I can ask. We're almost out of time, but quickly, I want to ask you this. Has there been any pushback from the medical community on this new definition?
So far, we haven't seen any, and this is just further proof of the infusion of gender ideology within the medical system itself. Because of that, so many doctors are afraid to speak up about it, even if they do personally oppose it. And so that's why the Heritage Foundation and so many other organizations are doing what they can to raise awareness about this issue and think about ways that we can actually help couples who are struggling with infertility, not just encourage the illusion that men can have babies.
And we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much for coming on for your insights. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.